Hello, Wanderers. You are on the Secrets of Shadows channel, where creepy and interesting retellings sound for you. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and we are starting. 20th, 67 year. As a result of abnormal climatic warming, massive fires began on Earth. Cities have turned to ashes, plants have died out, and natural oxygen has disappeared. As a result, the last illuminated city on the planet remains, in which people breathe with the help of synthetic oxygen. Many people start vomiting blood because of this, and after a while, death comes at all. This syndrome was nicknamed the Chekotka, which doomed humanity to extinction. Ethan White works in the tunnel with his partner Judah Mathers. They are both engaged in technical work to maintain the stability of the nuclear reactor. Ethan has been wearing a bracelet on his arm since childhood, on which a red indicator is constantly lit. He has a wife, Oksana, who is ill with Chekotka. The young man is sure that he will be able to help her if he works more, earns more money, and buys his wife a more perfect breathing mask. One day, Ethan is summoned by Regina Jackson, the head of the particle research department. Jude follows, not wanting to leave his friend. A woman leads employees to the laboratory where Ethan's father, Richard, once worked. She says that only a young man can save the planet. Arriving at the laboratory, the guy is shown a device called Chronicle. It is able to send signals and objects to the future, as well as receive feedback. Ethan is informed that a signal was sent earlier to check if there is something on the other side. It turned out that the future is there 407 years from current events. At first, this surprises Ethan, because according to scientists, people will die out in a maximum of 20 years. And if an answer comes from the future, then someone has found a way to forestall the collapse of humanity. But he is even more surprised by a message from the future, which reads, "Send Ethan White." At first, the young man categorically refuses to go anywhere. Moreover, he sees a flashback in which his father built a gift in the form of a box. And when the boy put his hand in there, the same bracelet with a burning red indicator was fixed in it. After the father left, he called home and asked his wife and son to go outside. At that moment, they were attacked. As a result, the woman died, and the boy was saved by Jude Meters. The House of Oksana persuades her husband to go on a journey and find a way to save humanity. A young man leaves a girl a flower made of metal, on which it is written, "I will find a way to return to you." Before sending, one of the scientists gives Ethan a device named Archie, which should help the guy, as well as monitoring vital signs. The young man's spacesuit lights up as soon as he arrives in the future. He quickly gets rid of it, and a few seconds later it explodes. When Ethan comes to himself, he sees a completely habitable area, similar to a jungle. He concludes that people were really able to restore the planet. However, no living organisms can be found around. Just like Archie, he can't detect a single satellite. After going a little deeper, the guy finds a human skeleton. After examining his clothes and the bracelet on his arm, Ethan realizes that these are his remains. The only difference is that the bracelet on the skeleton's arm is lit with a green indicator. After examining things, the young man finds a still working Archie with a broken screen and 2% battery charge. Starting the device, the guy listens to the latest recordings. He hears only fragments and realizes that he was talking to Jude. And then a shot rang out and everything went quiet. After spending a long time in the jungle, Ethan manages to make a fire, but sleeping things are tight. Unable to find anything suitable, he falls into a deep and disturbing sleep. When he comes to, he sees Jed, who is handing a friend food. It turns out that in the past they tracked a signal about the deterioration of the guy's physical well-being and sent a friend to help him. At that time, Archie manages to pick up some kind of signal, and he brings his friends to the bunker. Inside, the partners find the control panel. Ethan presses the enter button, and at that moment the bracelet on his wrist plunges into the skin, squeezing out a drop of blood. A moment later, a notification appears on the screen that access is open, and the indicator on the guy's bracelet lights up green. The lights in the room turn on, and the friends see the chronicle, which should take them back to 2067. A timer is turned on the device, which notifies that there are 4 hours left before the start. Jude is glad they can go home, while Ethan can't figure out why the bunker is empty. Moreover, he believes that the green indicator on the skeleton's bracelet means that these events have already happened, and they missed something. However, the friend begins to get nervous, assuring that the remains found do not belong to the guy. Ethan starts recording the Chronicle archive data and sees a hologram of his father in front of him. Richard informs that his invention will send a request to the future, hoping to find out how they managed to prevent extinction and restore the planet. The man receives an answer that he is 74 years old on the other side and receives the same message, "Send Ethan White." Regina Jackson wants to send the mother, but at this moment the scientist reports that a breakdown has occurred in the future. At this moment, the holographic message is interrupted, and the system gives an alert about the failure of the nuclear reactor. Ethan can't figure out a few things. Who finally repaired the reactor? Who sent the message to send it exactly? Where is anyone at all from whom you can get medicine? And why did they send Jude and not some medical soldier? The friend begins to get noticeably nervous. He asks Ethan to help restore the reactor and power supply, but first offers to explore the neighborhood again. Approaching the edge of the jungle, the partners find the remains of the oxygen plant known to them and the city as a whole. Everything is overgrown with greenery. After going inside and finding several human remains, Ethan realizes that there is no cure and people have not found a way to survive. The planet simply waited for humanity to die out, after which it recovered. Having found his wife's classroom and sees the remains of a girl, the flower he left with the inscription, "I will find a way to return to you." Before her death, Xanthi finished the message with the words, "It's a pity that you didn't come back." The young man becomes desperate, blaming himself for the death of loved ones. Jude tries to calm him down and says the very phrase that the guy has already heard from Archie, found at the skeleton. Maybe it's for the best. None of them are hurt anymore. Shocked, Ethan asks Archie from the past to play archived recordings. Hearing this, the dumbfounded friend pulls out a gun and points it at the guy. Ethan is sure that his partner wants to kill him, but in fact he is just trying to push him to restore the reactor. The first attempt fails, and the door begins to close. Jude tries to hold her, but Ethan pushes his friend out of the room, deciding to sacrifice himself. Switching the right lever, Ethan restores the reactor and loses consciousness. Jude finds an opportunity to get into the room to get a friend out of there. Returning to the control panel, the partners will find out that there are 37 minutes left before the system is activated. Jude sighs with relief and just lies down on the floor, waiting for the shipment. Ethan opens one of the doors at this moment and finds his remains behind it. He puts the insides out of old Archie and asks the device to play the last video recording. It shows friends arguing, and then Jude puts a gun to the young man's forehead. He covers Archie's screen with his hand, after which a shot is fired. Not believing that there is no chance of saving the planet in the past, Ethan examines the Chronicle's archival records, despite his friend's attempts to prevent him. Richard White reports that all his work was solely for the sake of his son. His calculation was that the guy went to the future and stayed where nature has already been restored. The recording shows Regina and young Jude entering the room, realizing that Regina is not going to look for medicines, but just wants to escape with a dozen chosen ones to a world where there is no catastrophe. The man informs her that this program is programmed so that at the other end it can only be activated with the help of Ethan's DNA. To prevent Richard from interfering with the plan, the woman kills him and then orders Jude to become the boy's guardian angel. After hearing this, Ethan begins to sort things out with a friend. Everything happens exactly as it was on the record. The only difference is that the man didn't kill the guy, but he shot himself in the head. At this time in 2067, a select group is preparing to be sent into the future. While waiting for Ethan to return, Regina orders one of the guards to kill him when he appears. This explains the remains he found at the entrance to the bunker. However, instead of the young man, plants from the future and Archie arrive at the laboratory, on which a video of Regina killing Richard is played. After Ethan sends in an earlier past message, "Send Ethan White," and destroys the Chronicle. In 2067, Xanthi watches TV and learns that Regina has been arrested and the company has been searched, during which several plant species were found. Perhaps humanity has a chance for an ecological revival. Oksana herself receives a living flower in 2474. Having buried Jude, Ethan puts a metal flower near his grave and sees that there is no message from his wife on it. Turning his head, and to his surprise, he sees a live butterfly. Running up to the exit of the bunker, the guy sees that his skeleton has disappeared, and the city of the future has appeared below instead of ruins. This means that everything worked out and humanity was saved. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care of the future. Take care of the planet. Take care of yourself. Put likes and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.